The riches of La Salette and the priesthood and the religious life are infinite.
Oh, I'd love to be bored. When I first came here, one of the priests who was here before said, "You're going to be so bored in that little town," and I just can't wait for that day to happen.
I feel like I've led a rewarding life. When I look back on it all, it's been a good run. There's a little gas left in the tank.
I worked for the Fireman's Fund Insurance Company. I was a commercial lines casualty underwriter. A vocation to the priesthood I had been struggling with for years. And I was avoiding it, ignoring it, running away from it. I started coming to church at this very church, Our Lady of Sorrows. And I became acquainted with the Missionaries of Our Lady of La Salette. And having met the La Salette fathers and brothers, it gave me the courage to say yes to God's call.
When I was in theology, the Missionaries of La Salette used to do the high school religious education at Andrews Air Force Base. After I got ordained, the priest who was there, he said to me one day, "Oh, Bob, you had such a good time here. Why don't you join the Air Force Reserves?" Then I was, in the reserves, and then one day there was a job opening in Denver at the reserve headquarters, and I ended up getting permission to go on active duty, and then I just never left. I finished my 30 years.
I think God made us to be joyful, and God made us to love other people. And I think when we do that, there is a sense of joy and accomplishment, and you just think that you're doing God's work, and there's a sense of peace about it.
Hunger is a problem, and since I can remember, for at least the past 36 years, Our Lady of Sorrows has operated its food bank. This food bank helps anywhere between 150 to 200 different families a month.
I was retired out of the Air Force in 2004, had a sabbatical year. We ended up getting a parish in Ocean Isle Beach. Sister Roseanne and I started a citizenship class. We were getting people ready to take the test for citizenship, and other issues, immigration issues, would come up either for them or their families or whatnot. And we would call this immigration lawyer in Wilmington and try to clarify some questions and get answers to them. And she would tell us, "You're practicing law without a license." So one day, I said to Sister Roseanne, "Let's get a license." In September 2011, we were certified to practice immigration law. I organized the first DACA workshop in all of Central North Carolina. 235 kids came that day. And we were able to take care of an awful lot of people who really could never afford to pay an attorney's office the kind of fees they charge. And so it was very rewarding to be able to help people who sit on the margins and really don't have a lot of money.
Well, our charism is reconciliation, and that really hit home to me during the James Byrd affair, when reconciliation was so needed in this community. We were really torn apart, and I was asked to do things that I wasn't comfortable doing because I'm an introvert, and Court TV would grab me every time I came out of the courthouse, and I would be on Court TV almost every day asking some really tough questions. And one night I was sitting in church, and I realized I needed to do that because I was carrying out our charism of reconciliation. And I remind myself of that a lot when I'm doing different things, that I think this is what Mary would be asking us to do, to live out our charism, because our charism isn't preaching, it's not teaching, You know, the Jesuits have a charism of teaching, and the Dominicans have a charism of preaching, and the Benedictines have a charism of liturgy. I think our true charism is reconciliation, and boy, is it needed today.
In the humblest sense, it's a privilege to offer Mass. And then you say, but I'm not worthy to raise the chalice. And my question to you is, who is worthy to raise the chalice? You know, I'm very much aware of my own unworthiness, but I can't deny that I've been called. And I do think my call is authentic. So that certainly, you know, gives me, you know, peace of mind where I can keep on doing what I'm doing. Worthy? Hardly. Called? I can't deny it. I do believe with all my heart that as unworthy as I am, I've been called.
We're not a cookie-cutter organization. There are people like me who would have ever thought doing immigration law or even the Air Force. To do things like that is a blessing, and it's rewarding for us and hopefully rewarding for the people that we serve too.
People call us in their happiest moments and in their saddest moments, and they truly share their life with us. You know, when I baptize a little baby, of parents who tried and tried and tried for years to have a child, it's just such a rewarding experience that I can be part of that family in its greatest joy. And when you marry a couple that are so much in love, and you get to participate in that ceremony, and then when you're called in the middle of the night to go to the hospital or to go to someone's home and prepare them to meet the Lord, as painful and as difficult as it is, you feel a very special grace that you walked with this family in the most difficult moments of their life, and that they trusted you and were willing to share their life with you. It's just a rewarding life. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
If you feel like you're called to the priesthood, give it a try. I know what it's like to be restless. I know what it's like to be plagued by self-doubt. And I would want anyone to be spared that restlessness. I would want anyone to be spared that self-doubt. God speaks within the silence of your heart. And then you are free to say yes, you are free to say no. And it's what you do with it to God's call. It's an invitation. Do you accept the invitation? Do you decline the invitation?